In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner. I'm yours, Jack, and this is a video edition of Windows Server Weekly, and this is show number 3. In this show, I thought I would teach you about DCPROMO. So how can we promote our server to a domain controller using DCPROMO? Active Directory. What is Active Directory and why is there so much hype around it? And why does people see it to be so confusing? Also, user account policies. What are user account policies? And how do we set those up to match our environment and what we need to be doing? Plus, we're going to have viewers' questions right here on Windows Server Weekly. And if you have any questions, please call me at 724-701-0911. Be glad to hear from you and be glad to actually work with you and maybe help you out with your Windows Server environment. So with that said, what happened this week? Just give you a rundown. Well, today's only Tuesday, so what happened up from last Tuesday? Other than the storms moving through the area, through the East Coast here, having some power outages, having a virtual server not come back, which we thought it should. And I'm hoping later on down the road to teach you about ESXi server, or ESX, and some of the various settings you have to do and you have to know about to make sure your servers will reboot after a power failure. And like I said, if you would also like to Skype in, you can Skype to Jack's Tech Corner. I have a new laptop set up to Skype through on, so if you want to, we can maybe be able to get some picture up there. Get a picture of you coming in, a feed. And I set the laptop up so you can actually see me anyway. So you're going to see a side view if you call in with video chat, but we'll work through that. So what we need to do first of all is we need to begin with how do we actually get Windows Server to be a domain controller. And I'm just giving a few more minutes here to see if we grab some more, a few more viewers. I did Skype this out a while ago, quite a few times, and also I also have Skype open. So I mean, not Skype. I'm sorry. I tweeted this out, put it on Twitter. So if you want to tweet me a message back, by all means you can do that. And my handle on tweet is Technoman. Very easy. It's just Technoman. I think somehow that's how I got my YouTube channel. It's 42 Technoman. Kind of a weird name, but that's what it is. So we're trying to wait around a little bit until we pick up some viewers, and we'll see what happens. Had a little trouble with Sunday's show, trying to post it to YouTube, just to give you a little bit of background there. YouTube actually kicked the audio because I got this bad habit, and I see a lot of people doing live shows have this bad habit of running audio in the background, such as Pandora or streaming some music in the background. For some reason, YouTube caught that and they said, hey, that's against the law. I mean, you can't do that. So they X'd the audio. So if you've seen that video go up this morning, that was Photoshop Elements 3. If you happen to see that go up this morning and then see it go back down about an hour later, that's because I deleted it and I took it back down. There's no sense having a video up with no audio. So I'm re-editing that live show that we did on Sunday morning, and I'm going to repost that back out there on the internet. So we have at this point 8 followers, which is good. I'm just going to open a window here. It's getting hot in the little studio. So as I was saying, we have 8 followers right now, and I'm going to show you this new camera shot since I'm sitting here. We have 8 followers, and we're looking for more. So if you're watching this on Justin TV, click the follow button and follow the show. What happens then, I started actually following some shows, and as soon as the show goes live, you get an email that says, hey, we're live and on the air. So I think you'd be interested in that. And it is funny how much of a delay you have when you actually watch yourself. I still can't get over that. I should just shut that down, not even worry about it. But I do keep the feed open just to see what's going on and make sure we are broadcasting okay. We're also simulcasting. If you guys are coming in on Ustream, then welcome aboard. I can't see you. I don't know if we have any viewers coming from Ustream, but possibly. The main stream is on Justin TV at justin.tv/Jack's Tech Corner, all one word. You can catch me there. By all means, call in using the number there on the screen, 724-701-0911. Or you have that option of Skyping in, so you don't have any long distance charges. Just Skype to Jack's Tech Corner. Okay. So we are going to get started here. So then when you view this, it's going to make sense to you. So let's just go ahead and start. And then as the viewers come in, if you need to stop me, by all means you can stop me, and we will talk about what's going on. Let me bring up my Windows server, and I think you're going to be impressed here. Some people said in the past, "Oh, Jack, we can't see what you're doing. It doesn't look good." We're going to bring it up here. Now you can. We'll bring it up like this. And now you can actually see me and the Windows server. So that's pretty cool. And it looks a lot better on the output, so it looks like it's working a lot better. We're going to go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do when you have a server, so we have a new server we built, we gave it a static IP address, and we set it up with DNS services. So DNS server is running on this new server. Now we want to make it a domain controller. So I click on the start button, and in the search box, just like Windows 7 or Windows Vista was, right? Their search box, you can type CMD. Then you get this command box, right? You get a command prompt. Now in this command prompt, I don't know if I can raise this up or not. I'm going to try and see what happens here. It really doesn't, because it's kind of locked to it anyway. In the command prompt, I'll just tell you, you type DCPROMO, DCPROMO, and then hit your enter key. That's going to start the Active Directory domain service binary, right? It's going to start it up so we can start adding our Active Directory domain controller. And I think you'll be really impressed with this. It's really interesting how this works. And it's not really hard. And I know there's some wizards you can play walkthrough and click here, but old school people do it the old school ways, and thank you Microsoft for leaving it in there for us that's been doing this for a long time. So then we come up with our welcome to Active Directory. If I can pull this over a little bit. Welcome to the Active Directory Domain Service Installation Wizard. Use advanced mode. You don't need to check that. Let's click next. Okay, Windows 2008 and 2008 R2 domain controllers have new, more secure default domain settings. Next. Okay, existing forest. Now, if you've been doing this for a while, you're going to know what this means. You know, when I was starting out in computers, when, some of the earlier servers like NT 3.51 came around, and 3.5, right? We did domain controllers, and then we did basically child controllers off of that domain controller. So there was a parent, and then there was child. Now they call it a forest. So now you have a tree, right? An existing forest, or a forest is a data center or a bunch of servers. Or we're going to create a new domain in a new forest. So if you already have a domain controller, you may not want to create a new one. Of course, we've had 2 or 3 domain controllers in our network before, and that just so you can segregate your server farm out a little bit. But you really don't have to anymore. With the new advancements, new security features, you can create one domain controller and then have a couple backups in your forest, or a couple branches off of that, or whatever have you be. So we're going to go ahead and just create a new domain forest. Click next. Now it wants a fully qualified name for the root domain. It gives you an example right here. So this example, I'm going to call this home.org or home. Let's make it home.net. What the heck? Now again, there's a lot of different beliefs in this. My personal belief is just you're giving it a name for your internal network to find it domain controller. This does not have to be your registered DNS name from ICANN, right? From the Internet Registry. You know, your GoDaddies or wherever. But this does not have to be a registered domain name. This is actually a internal kind of a domain name. So try not to get those two confused. I like to keep it separate for security reasons. I don't want my registered domain name to be my domain name for my network. So I call mine home.net. Next. At this point, it's going to start looking for that force to see if it's already in use, that name, across my network. Now it's verifying the net BIOS name. Okay. Now your forced function level. This is pretty key because if you have some older model servers in your network somewhere, Windows 2000 or something, you may want to go with Windows Server 2003. My personal belief is I like to do it full tilt, so I do Windows Server 2008 R2. I want all the features. That's why you pay for the upgrades. That's why you upgrade the server in the first place to R2. And it says you will be able to add only domain controllers that are running Windows Server 2008 R2 or later to this forest. I was like Microsoft, or later. There's no later right now. So, but they're preparing you. They're telling you it has to be from now forward, or you can't load from now backwards. So if you have 2000 or 2003, you can't join those to this domain controller. So just make it 2008 R2. Next. Now it's examining your DNS configuration. That's where your DNS is golden that we created before, right? We had to have a DNS server running before in order to actually be able to hook this domain controller to it. That's why you want to hook it to it. The DNS server is already installed on the server. Of course it is, because we did that in the last lesson. Click Next. Now it's doing, it's actually building the domain controller records for the DNS, the domain name records, and putting them into DNS for us. Okay, the delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authorization pattern zone cannot be found, or it does not run within Windows Server. No. Otherwise, no action is. Okay, let's see. If you're integrating with an existing DNS infrastructure, you should manually create a delegation in this DNS server. No, resolution. Otherwise, no. Do you want to continue? Yeah, let's continue. Okay, now it's going to create that database folder for all of our DNS records, the Active Directory records, the NTDS, the databases, and the sysvol files. So let's click Next. Now, password. I suggest use the same password on your directory services that is your administrative password. Click Next. And you can export the settings to back them up, blah, 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 blah. Next. Now it's doing actually configuring our Active Directory services. That's what we're working on right now. I think when we do that, I'm going to switch over here. You'll see me turn around here for a second. Open up another tab here. And bring up just going to look at our Ustream channel here too and see how that's going. I love all these channels, all these different streaming services having all these advertisements in the beginning of your video when you bring them up. Okay. Once everything is done, it's going to say completing the Active Directory domain service installation wizard. So that is taken care of. We can now hit finish. We are going to go ahead and reboot it now. It's always actually funny to me on Ustream how much Ustream is closer to real time than what Justin TV is. It's kind of funny how that works. I mean, it's almost right up to where I'm at, and Justin TV is behind me by just a few seconds. It's kind of weird. Okay, so we're applying the settings after we created our domain controller. We created our Active Directory. We made this a domain controller using DCPROMO. And now we're just applying our computer settings. And this does at times take a little bit of length of time. And if you're just joining the show, if you have questions, by all means, use the number there on the screen, 724-701-0911. Or you can Skype me at Jack's Tech Corner. We're just applying the settings on the new server here, so we can actually bring this up. As soon as this comes up, we will get back on with our demonstrations here. We're going to start talking about Active Directory and user account policies. Okay, so our server's back up. We're just going to hit Control-Alt-Delete. We're going to log back in. And now we see that this domain controller is coming back online. And there we go. So, at that point you got to ask yourself, Jack, what's the difference? What changed? It looks like the same desktop. Well, absolutely. What changed was now we can start adding users to our Active Directory. Shut this off. We're not going to use this anymore, I don't think. Okay, there should be another box popping up here too, unfortunately. Maybe for me. Yep, I thought so. I can get rid of that too. Okay. So we have this ready to go here. And what we're going to do now is have a look at Active Directory. Active Directory is one of those things where people worry so much about it and they're like, I kind of scared of Active Directory. And we probably were at first too when we first started using AD over the NT database. Remember the old Windows NT? But if you click on the Start button and go to Administrative Tools, you can now see Active Directory Users and Computers, Active Directory Sites and Services, Group policy management, which is another pretty important feature we're going to talk about. So we're going to go start administrative tools, Active Directory users and groups. And what you're going to do here is you have to learn a little bit. I'm just going to give you this, and I'm going to break this feed because it doesn't want to work right anyway. But what you need to do here is start by creating OUs. An OU is an organizational unit. Just what it means we can be better organized. Right-click on here. You can do New, and then OU. All right, let's see here. OU, or organizational unit, and give it a name, such as staff. So here's your staff OU. What we like to do then is go in here and give it a new folder called users. Well, not user. Actually give this a new organizational unit, and it's called users. So now these are our users under our staff group. So it's going to keep it nice and organized. Now we can come over here and we can add a user. Bob Builder. And his name will be B-U-I-L-D-E-R. Bob Builder. Next. His password, we'll make it defaulted to something easy. User must change password at login. That's pretty important, right? You want the user to change the password to login there. And you actually also, user cannot change the password. You don't want that because that's going to tell you there's a problem because you're saying they must change it. Password never expires. You don't want that because, again, it says user must change it. Take that off. Or account is disabled. You don't want that. So let's go here. Click on Next and Finish. Bob the Builder now has a user account. There you go. We like to give them descriptions, so you can right-click and go to Properties. And we're not going to talk about file folders tonight unless somebody calls in and asks me about it. Again, with the amount of viewers I have myself, it's probably not worth it. I know you guys, and I know I'm just beating a dead horse. I know you guys are going to view these on Justin TV, but I think I'm going to delete this one anyway because the stream broke. Once again, it's kind of ridiculous that it breaks like that. I don't know why. It hiccups, I guess. We'd like to give them a description here, like accounting staff. You can give it like where's their office at? Accounting building. You can put their telephone number in. This is like an email address. It's an organizer. Address information. Here's account information. You can even set log on hours. So maybe you don't want people to be able to, or somebody to log on to that particular, with that user account on Sundays. You just click on here. You can deny it. And on Saturdays, we don't want them to. We can deny that. That way they can only log in through the week. So they're not coming in on the weekends, right? But we're going to turn that back on. Again, just click your mouse and drag your mouse across and click login permitted. Log on to all computers or the following computers. You can give them certain computers they can log into. So there's a lot you can do in Active Directory now. Profile path, we'll get into that if we talk about, if we actually talk about the file folders, the server folders. Telephone numbers, organizational stuff. Member of, these are groups. We'll talk about groups and security groups and how those will help you out. Com Plus, nothing there. Your personal virtual desktop, we can talk about that later on down the road. We're not going to do it right now. Remote desktop services profile, we can also talk about that and how that would actually affect your users that are remoting in to the computer. Remote control, that's if it allows you to remote in. Sessions, these are different sessions you can use. And when you want them to disconnect. Like end a disconnected session, we like to end these in about 15 minutes. Because if not, that connection will hang out there for a while. So you don't want to leave it set at never. Environment. We use this sometimes if you have a remote user logging in and you want a certain program to start so they can't get to the desktop. And then dial in, which we don't really dial in anymore. You can assign it from static IP. But again, that's all dial-in connections, and we really don't use dial-up connections anymore. Click Apply and OK. Okay, so there you have it. That is how to set up a Active Directory domain controller and be able to actually configure it with your first user account and using an OU. So that is what you do with that. This video will be edited down a little bit. I will be posting this on YouTube, so you can see it up on YouTube because Justin TV had a hiccup and it cut me off in mid-sentence, which happens. Some of that is because, I do believe some of that is because of both streams. Not real sure. Looks like Justin TV at this point is keeping up, but the other stream is not, and I'm going to check that. It could have been my computer actually just stopped and lost the stream. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, folks, so I'm going to wrap it up. Unless you have any questions, you can call the number on the screen there. I'm going to leave the Skype open for a little bit. But I'm going to cut the recording. So once again, this was Windows Server Weekly, number 3. And I'll see you back here next Tuesday, possibly. We're going to see how many people view this stream, or if I need to create a different type of show to bring more viewers. So I want viewers. That's basically what I need. So, or, email me at jackstechcorner@gmail.com. Say, Jack, I plan on viewing live next week because I want live viewers here. That's going to help the show out a lot. If not, we can just record this stuff and throw it up on YouTube anytime and be done with it. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the week and a nice upcoming Easter weekend. Have a nice break. I'll see you back here next week on Jack's Tech Corner, or Sunday for Photoshop Elements Weekly. Bye for now.